Clix Land, welcome back to Talkn Clix. I am your host, Wespool, and as always, with me is my faithful friend and partner, Scott, son of John. Hello, Scott, son of John.
Good evening, Sunshine.
Who we got tonight?
Tonight we have Mr. Anthony. I don't want to mess up your last name. Is it Robnitt? Robinett?
You got it perfect, Robnitt. Kind of like
Robnitt?
Robin Net.
Okay.
Is it Tony or Anthony?
I go by Anthony mainly, but I mean, if Tony's a little bit easier for you, that's fine too.
All right.
Tony?
Anthony, do you have... Oh, sorry, Scott, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, where are you from? And give a shout out to your local venue.
Yeah, so I am from the desert here in Arizona. It's about 100 degrees right now. Has been for the past few days, so not too fun. Our local venue that we mainly play out of is called Authoria, out in Tempe, Arizona. For people who are watching who are from Arizona, it used to be Game Depot for a very long time, but now it is Authoria.
Awesome. Are you a father?
No, I am single. I am 27 right now. But yeah, no kids or anything yet.
As of today's the last day of Origins. Give a shout out to all the people that made it out there. Had a great time rolling dice. Man, the field was very unique. I was looking for certain builds, and the top teams really surprised me. I was expecting to see a lot of collectors. I didn't see hardly any. A lot of Red Hulk, Spirit of Vengeance. I expected to see a lot of them. I didn't expect to see that much of them.
I expected a ton of them, which is why we talked about it last week with Paul.
Yep.
Like, you're gonna see it, and this is the counter, but it was too late. But it was cool. I mean, now they're gonna know what to do afterwards.
I'm a little heartbroken that not only could I not make it, but the other person that was taking a very similar team didn't play in the 300 Modern. Antonio Clark, he had a very similar Gauntlet Spider-Man team, and the last minute he decided to drop out and play BRs, which enabled him to win the BR championship. So congratulations, Antonio, on that. But we had very similar Gauntlet Spider-Man, which takes away your sideline, your weapons, your equipment. And so you start out the game on turn one ahead on points, however much sideline and equipment they have. And then you play keep away until time. I think that team, especially mine specifically, could have really taken a beating to the Spirit of Vengeance Red Hulk, because without his sideline, he's just 18 impervious. Not too hard to take down.
Yeah, that really neutralizes him.
It does neutralize him, but he does have the Mystics, and he will be dealing some poison to you. So, I mean, your Spider-Man team has a lot of quirks to it. But once you figure it out, I feel like you would have gone through the Swiss rounds fairly well, and then under the cut, it'd have been a lot harder.
That's exactly what Miles Kane and Ryan Redmond said on their show. I submitted my team to them and say, "Hey, what did you guys think about this?" And they said it would have done really well until cut, and then once everybody went to lunch and talked about it, they'd have a plan for it. But that's all I was trying to do was make cut anyway. But we'll see next time.
All right. So, Anthony, former military?
I am not former military.
Okay. You got any nicknames we should know about?
Any nicknames? Back in high school, I used to be called Big Tony. I was in auto and weight training, so that was one of the nicknames I had. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I don't really have a bunch of nicknames.
Okay, what's your screen name on Discord?
Oh, Antoine. That is another nickname that a friend of mine gave me back in high school, and that kind of, for some reason, it just kind of stuck. So, Antoine is my Discord name.
Is it the same for your Heroclix login for the win, or your
It
AC
is,
unit?
yeah, it is actually. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure that is it.
Once we get a nickname, we don't normally stray too far from it.
Yeah. I see you're sporting a
Yeah.
Superman hat. Are you a DC fanatic?
I am more of a DC fan than Marvel. Superman is my favorite hero all time, so I'm actually really excited for the movie that's coming out. Was it July 11th? But yeah, Superman fan for sure.
I'm gonna make you mad with my take on Superman.
Oh no. Is it just your take on the movie or Superman in general?
Now, Superman in general, he's such a pansy. I mean, I
What?
don't mean he's a pansy. He has this godlike power, and yet he wants to be a mild-mannered reporter. Like, come on,
All
be
right.
better. Like,
I can
my
see
alter
that.
ego's a little wuss. I just watched Superman 1 and 2, the original Christopher Reeves ones.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say the original, but the Christopher Reeve movies. My kid and I've been watching them, trying to beef up on our Superman knowledge, and I'm like, man, he acts like such a klutz. He's just, no, that's not how you want your superhero to act. Maybe your alter ego to try and throw people off, but that's not superhero esque.
With the glasses. That's all it takes. The glasses.
So it's funny you said that. I was actually talking to my brother about this the other day, and we were kind of talking about like who is our favorite live action Superman. And this might be a deep cut, but have you guys ever heard of a TV show called Lois and Clark: The Adventures of Superman?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is by far my favorite iteration of a live action Superman. And the reason why is because of what you just said. I mean, Christopher Reeves is iconic, but his Clark Kent he's such a bumbling idiot. And I don't like that when it comes to Superman. I think a lot of people kind of forget, like, they say it in Lois and Clark. Superman is what he can do, but Clark Kent is who he is. I think when they make a lot of live action stuff, they forget that Clark Kent he was raised as Clark Kent. He went to school, he had friends, he had family, he explored the world as Clark Kent, not Superman. And that version of Clark Kent I mean, he kind of plays a little clumsy once in a while to really separate himself from Superman so people don't guess. But he's not an idiot. Like, he actually is a normal human being who's trying to live life like us. So I think that's kind of the main thing they miss a lot of times in live action. And from what I've heard with the James Gunn movie, it sounds like this Clark Kent's not going to be just, a bumbling fool. He's going to actually have personality. So I'm hoping that's how it is, because that's what I think makes Superman a more interesting character.
What did you think of
To
the
me,
Smallville version?
I like the Smallville version a lot. A lot of people say that's like the best version of Superman. I don't think so. I mean, it's a fun show. It's definitely you could definitely tell what era it was made in, by the music and the story that it tells. But I do like Smallville. I think that Lex Luthor is probably one of the best Lex Luthors ever. Live action for sure. Is so good. He I don't know if you ever noticed it in that show, but he always, almost every single episode, Lex Luthor always kind of starts with his back turned, and then the character, whoever comes in is like, Lex Luthor, this is what's going on, and then he'll always be like that dramatic turn, and it would crack me up all the time.
Okay, so who's the worst Superman?
The worst live action Superman. This is not going to be a popular opinion. Nick Cage. I guess
Superman in the Flash.
Live action Superman, right?
Yeah, in the Flash.
In the Flash,
or CGI anyway.
Right, Nick Cage is probably the worst one. But if I had to choose one who actually had some time to be Superman, this is not going to be a popular opinion, but I think Henry Cavill.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don't get me wrong. He looks the part. I cannot take that away. But like I told you before, for me, a big part is Clark Kent. You need to have that Clark Kent personality done the right way. and he's never Clark Kent. I think they have like one scene maybe where he is Clark Kent, and like that is it. So I didn't like that, and his Superman was just too dark. Like, I get that's kind of what they're going for, and having that gritty personality. But I just rewatched Man of Steel, getting ready for the James Gunn movie, and there's so many things that like he does that's just not Superman.
I thought his character was boring. I felt like he had very little personality. My favorite scene is in I think it was Batman vs Superman, but where he is in the bathroom with Lois and he gets fully clothed into the bathtub with her to just be stupid, and that was the funniest he's been in all of his movies. I'm like, that's the Superman I wanted to see, not just the stoic, serious all the time, dark Superman.
Yeah,
I don't see
that's
how he
not
has time to be
Superman.
Clark anyway. I mean, if he's too busy saving cats from trees and dams and traffic jams, I feel like he has no time to be Clark Kent. So why even go with the persona?
Yep.
Yeah,
My
I can see that.
my take on Superman as far as a superhero is he's not brave. He's not heroically brave. When you are invincible, impervious to everything, and you run into a burning building knowing you can't be hurt, that's not heroic. Yes, you're saving people, but it's not brave. When you are vulnerable to what you're running into and knowing that you could die, that's heroic. So I feel like Batman is way more brave. All the non-powered superheroes are way more brave than the powered ones.
I
Yeah,
can back that.
I feel like that argument could be made with a lot of superheroes. You got like Thor, Hulk. They go out and save the day, but it's the same kind of
Yeah.
idea that they can't get hurt. So yeah, I mean, those non-powered superheroes are definitely more relatable for sure.
So, and as far as I know, I don't know if it's still true because I haven't read Superman comics in a long, long time. But Superman had a weakness to kryptonite and magic. Does he still have those weaknesses?
So okay, my brother, he's a little brother, so he acts like a little brother, right? He hates Superman because it's my favorite hero. And so all the time he'll joke around like, I could beat Superman. I just got to pull a bunny out of a hat, and he's done.
That's
But
magic.
that's because it's magic, yeah. But the thing is he's not like he doesn't have like a weakness to magic. So it's not like someone does like a card trick or something, and he loses his powers. It's more that he is just vulnerable to it the same way like you and I or a regular person would be. So I don't know if that's like a weakness. It's just he's not super invulnerable to it like he is bullets and fire and stuff. But kryptonite, as far as I know, so he actually I don't think he is. I don't think he is weak to kryptonite anymore. They just had a comic come out, I think, recently where he has like developed an immunity to kryptonite. All the other super people like Supergirl, Superboy, like they're still weak to it, but he's not. Like he's, I guess, has gone into the next stage of his evolution. Have you guys ever heard of Superman 1 million?
Yes.
No.
So no.
No.
So all right. Long story short, Superman 1 million is basically a story of Superman outlives everyone. All the heroes and people we know, they grow old and they die. And Superman goes and he hibernates in the sun for I think like 1,000 years or something crazy like that. And in the meantime, he leaves like saving the world to his son and everything. And so he goes, hibernates, and he comes out like a golden god, basically. Like he can
There's a
create
hero click of it.
universes. What was that?
There's a hero click of it. Superman Prime.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
there is a hero click of it. It's actually pretty good here. I mean, it was pretty good back in the day. I don't think it holds up anymore.
He's a
But
really good pilot in Silver Age for the Ghost Rider Legacy.
ooh, I didn't even think. Can wait?
Future
How would
keyword.
you? Well, yeah. What's the keyword?
Future.
What?
Future.
Future. Okay. Huh. That actually, I might have to bring that back out then. I didn't know that. I never thought about that one.
I'm gonna test your knowledge of Superman. Do you know
Oh
the
no.
origins of Kryptonite?
Yes, I do. I think I do. You're gonna tell me if I'm wrong or not. Um, I think the origins, if I'm remembering correctly, they had what's the right word? It was a radio show, I guess. I
Correct.
mean, that's how they did the.
Yes.
That's how they did the show. And the guy who voiced Superman wanted to go on vacation, I believe. They needed a way to kind of make a break so he could go actually on vacation. I think they introduced kryptonite in the radio show. Superman got sick and he couldn't, be Superman for a little bit. And then the guy who voiced him actually got to go on vacation and then came back and kryptonite was a thing.
Okay, so you are half correct, at least from
Okay.
what I've read. The radio show, yes, all that. The voice of Superman got sick, and he had a
Oh, he was
raspy
sick.
voice or something, and they invented kryptonite to cover up the fact that he sounded weird.
Because Superman can't get sick.
I don't know.
That's pretty awesome. And then it stuck around.
All right. So where do y'all what day of the week do y'all normally play at the shop?
We usually play Wednesday nights, 6:30 p.m.
And you are the organizer?
Yeah. I usually organize everything, put the word out, help kind of make up some themes for us to do, things like that. So yeah.
What's your
That's
average
how I found
attendance?
you.
Oh, is that you guys both talked at the
Sorry.
same time?
I said that's how I found him, Wes, was he was making a post on Arizona's pages. Why am I trolling Arizona's pages? I'm looking for guests.
Awesome.
Scott,
I'm glad you
Scott
found
knows
me, man.
everybody. How many people do you have on average every week?
Right now we're averaging like 8 to 10 people.
Wow, that's
Um,
nice.
yeah, it was tough to get it going. Like I said, so the store we're at used to be called Game Depot. It was there since I was like 10 years old. So I don't know how long before that. Then during COVID, COVID was the first time out of like since I was 10 that they haven't had a Heroclix every single week. And so after that, the owners decided they wanted to leave, sell the store. Then it became Athoria, but all the HeroClix people during COVID kind of like disappeared and left, and so there was no one going. So about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I really made an effort to try to get people to start coming back, and it just kind of naturally happened. And we've had a pretty good turnout since. So I'm really excited. We got a fun place to play.
Nice.
Awesome. It just takes the consistency of the same night or the same day at the same time. And you'll have ups and downs. You'll have two people show up for forever, and the next thing you know, you got 10. So good job.
Yeah, thank you.
So, what is your occupation outside of HeroClix?
I am a realtor, so I help people buy and sell houses and invest in houses, things like that.
You have oceanfront property in Arizona?
Oh yeah, tons.
Lex Luthor
I
gets his hands
wish.
on California.
Hopefully soon. I'm waiting for him to bomb those fault lines, make me some beachfront property.
What is the most expensive house that you sold?
The most expensive house I've sold was $1.2 million, and that was out in Prescott. It was like an acre. They had goats and stuff like that. It was a very unique property. Most of them aren't like that. Most of them are kind of around like the $500,000 to $600,000 range.
And how many bricks of HeroClix did you buy with that commission check?
All of them. I don't usually get to buy HeroClix if I can't sell a house. So I usually wait once I sell a house. I usually try to pre-order my brick or my case or something that way.
How long you been in the game?
So I've been collecting HeroClix for 20 years, ever since I was like 7, 8. I've been actually playing Heroclix probably for like the past 10 years on and off. And then playing like seriously and kind of getting more involved in the community over the past 2 years.
You mentioned that you've been on a podcast before, but not a HeroClix podcast. What were you podcasting about?
For real estate. So I used to have a podcast with my buddy called Homes, Brews, and News. And the idea was basically we'd do a podcast like this on camera. We'd pop a few beers and we would talk about the real estate market, just kind of the ups and downs, interest rates, that kind of boring stuff for work.
How
Hey,
is
it's a nice event.
how is
Yeah,
the market right
yeah, it
now?
was fun. We reached a few people. I got a few deals out of it, so it was worth it. I got
Nice.
a drink at work, so I can't complain.
How is the market right now? Are we doing well?
I don't know where you guys are at, but here in Arizona, it's a pretty balanced market. Just basically meaning like, the sellers don't have the advantage, buyers don't really have an advantage. It's more even. So like you're putting an offer in, there's negotiations that are happening, offers are getting accepted. Um, Back in during COVID, um, it was crazy out here. We were in more of a seller's market, which basically means a lot of people from California specifically were coming out here. They were selling, their 1.2, 1.5, $2 million house, and coming out here and buying, a house cash above asking price. So the people out here in Arizona were having a really hard time because the only way for them to get a house was they had to go above asking. They had to say, we're not going to do an inspection. We're going to take the house as is. We're not going to ask you guys for any money to help for closing costs. It's just we're going to do everything we can to buy the house from you. So at that point, sellers had way too much power. But now, like I said, it's definitely more balanced, which I think is a good thing.
Cool.
Are you part of a HeroClix team?
I'm not. I've been wanting to do one. Like I said, I've over the past year, 2 years is when I've started to get more involved in the community. You guys asked me if I was going to Origins this year. I didn't, but I am going to Worlds for the first time ever. It's going to be my first time ever at a big like, HeroClix event. So I'm really excited for that. I'm talking with my brother and then trying to see if maybe we could find one more person to maybe do a team or something like that. But as of right now, no team.
I have an unofficial rule that anybody who comes on our show or buys our merch is part of Talkn Clix. So,
Okay.
So
All right. I'm going to have to buy some
the
merch.
crew is growing. The crew is growing.
Nice.
All right. Do you prefer to play modern or silver?
I think out of the two, probably silver. At our store, we play probably too much golden, actually. Yeah, out of the two, I would choose silver.
when you
Golden's
build a,
nice, but just
go ahead.
Go ahead, Wes. All right, I was gonna say golden's nice, but I feel like you have to give some kind of discount for the point system because it is chaos back in the golden age.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When you build a team, do you start with more of a general concept of the shenanigans you want to do, or do you build around a certain character or keyword? What's your starting block?
Those are usually the two starting blocks. One of those, I would say, more often than not, I choose a character that I want to play and that I'm kind of excited to play, and then I'll try to figure out the shenanigans to surround that character with, make them fun for me.
You prefer casual or competitive?
Ah, man, that's tough. I want to say casual, but honestly, our store has gotten pretty competitive. So I mean, for when we first started, for like the first few months when I got it back up and running, it was very much more casual. And then four guys showed up kind of out of nowhere, and they're really, really freaking good for like no reason. And they got like they made like all the other players who were playing casual, they made them better. So like for a while, it was those four people that were just kind of coming in and just dominating. And then after a while, the other people were like, "We got to step up our game." So we all have gotten better, and now it's more kind of like even. There's not really like one person that I would put like at the top of our little play group. Just fun. I like it like that. I like it where it's kind of like anyone can win it.
When I first got into playing, and there was a judge that would come play at our store, everyone hated playing the judge. It's like, oh, they treated him kind of like he's the bad guy of the show. So once you finally learn how to beat the judge, it's like, oh my gosh, I climbed the mountain. And then you look
Yeah.
up and there's more mountains up there. I'm like, oh my gosh, now we got to go states or WKOs or whatever. There's so many more mountains instead of just the locals. But it's great that they're beating the local mountain or the local bad guy to the TV show. But there's more ahead.
Are you able
Take them
Yeah.
to a
to
state.
switch back and forth between competitive and casual?
Yeah, we definitely can. I will say you probably saw, and because I saw you guys made a post on Facebook for people to ask you some questions, and there's one guy who always, I mean, it's all in good fun, but he's always kind of ribbing me about how I don't like pulp. So speaking about casual, or I guess more casual, he always makes fun of me for that. For some reason I cannot figure out that format. Like I'm always so bad at it, and he makes fun of me because he's like, well, you got to always play your competitive pieces to do well. So I guess maybe I can't anymore.
There are quite a few questions, and I posted that not very long ago. Michael Straight, former guest, what set did you enter the game with?
That's a tough question because, like I said, I started collecting like 20 years ago. When I collected, I was like 8 years old, and I literally found it because we went into my local comic book shop. I saw a Superman, uh, the Superman from Hyper Time. I saw that click, and I was like hooked because I was like, these are all my favorite characters. They're so cool looking. I didn't actually know how to play the game or play it right for like 5 6 years. Um, so, anyways, long story, or to answer that question, I would say probably around Trinity War is when I started actually playing the game the right way and understood how to play it.
So, Miguel Silva, what was the most difficult team you have faced? You responded to that on Facebook.
Yeah. Did I answer him?
You said, make me relive some of my greatest
Oh,
losses. Ha ha ha.
yeah. Um, yeah, I've been thinking about that one today too because of that question. I'd
Hector,
say
Hector, Hector wanted to respond in there saying it was the Genesis APOC team.
he's one of the guys who comes to our shop. He's one of the guys I was telling. He's one of the four. When he came in, he was like one of the big dogs. I mean, and he's a great Heroclix player, but I'd say it's a little more even for most people now with him. But um, he's always ribbing me too. He copied me. I started doing APOC and Genesis before him, and he just got them like a few weeks ago. And he won a few of the events we've done because of them. But sorry to go back to answer the question. There's two teams that come to my mind when I'm thinking of the hardest teams I've had to play against. Um, I guess to preface this, I don't think there's ever been a team where like I look at it and I'm like, I don't want to play against this. Like, there's absolutely zero, no way I'm gonna win. I feel like you always got a shot, if the dice are on your side and your strategy is decent. But two that a recent memory, we had a Clix West event. It was last month or maybe 2 months ago now. Um, where someone ran a main force Beetlejuice, and that sucked so bad. My team, the team I ran was like a Black Lantern team, so it was relying a ton of free actions. I needed free actions to make my team work. Beetlejuice came in, said, "Nope, you don't get to do anything anymore." And that was a team that I just couldn't overcome, like almost no matter what I did. Um, yeah, that was a tough one, and I would say the toughest, not the toughest one, but the one that's most memorable for me was 2 years ago. We did an ROC state event, and I don't know if he's watching. He commented, but there's a guy who's in our Heroclix group named Wes, and he is one of the best team makers I've ever met ever. Because that 2 years ago was when the first time I met him. I was running a chainsaw lantern team. So I had like Iron Spider on my team. I had Guy Gardner, Wonder Woman, and the whole point was to like bring them all the way across the map, do an alpha strike, drop my chainsaws, just go to town on it. Um, but his team was like Molecule Man, Indigo Sinestro, Fulcrum, and there's a Storm that like did knockback, I think, from Exo Swords. I forget which one. Like I remember looking at his team and in my head thinking like this is gonna be too easy. Like this guy, like his team just looked so like it just looked so easy. And sure enough, I went up with my Alpha Strike. He did like a knockback where he just knocked back everyone apart, like away from each other, and just came out dropping boots and stuff, just knocking people back and KO'd my whole team. So that was probably the like biggest loss I've had, in my opinion, just because like I wasn't expecting it at all. And he always has teams like that. So shout out to him.
What about you, Wes? What's been your bane of existence on HeroClix teams?
Um,
All right, I know I'll put you on the spot. I'll jump in while you think a little bit.
yeah.
Anything with barrier, I hate a barrier team.
Oh, I don't know why I had to think about that so hard. Freaking plant teams. I hate the plant teams. I hate them so much. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them.
Avril Anthony had a really awesome legacy video. We definitely want to hear how he feels about the legacy revelations by Scott Porter. Good or bad?
Kind of mediocre, I think. I was expecting a lot more. I mean, especially when he
There's
said there was going to be
22 of them.
22. Yeah, I thought they were going to have some really good ones.
How many do you
I've only
have?
seen like 5.
No, they showed all 22.
They've shown all the cards because I haven't seen the cards.
They
I've
haven't seen the
not
cards.
bigger list.
He listed them off.
Yeah, he listed them off. He didn't show all the cards.
Yeah, so
I
you
think he
don't know
probably showed,
what's
like, 5
what.
or 6. Yeah, I think the most surprising thing for me is I would have bet like the farm on them having Anti-Monitor, the Black Lantern Anti-Monitor as a legacy card. I think most people really, you're saying no, huh?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't feel like they do a lot of Con LEs unless they were buyables, and that one was not easy to get if you didn't get it right then. Like the Spirit of Vengeance Hulk, they had in the store for a long time. The Sinestro brick box or the wooden crate box was in the store for a long time. So those have been around for a while for them to get rid of. So
Black
I
Lantern
can
was
see
on
why
the
they're
website
making.
forever.
That's what got me is because what was the last DC set that came out? Masters of Time. They like that the Starro that got the legacy card. It wasn't on the store. Then they announced like Masters of Time. They announced that Starro's back on the store for people to buy, and they did the exact same thing with the Anti-Monitor. When they announced this set, Lantern Legacy, he came back on the WizKids store.
That's
That's
where I got
actually where
mine.
I bought one.
I
Yeah,
bought
that's right.
I
I didn't know
bought
that.
it
I didn't-
just because I thought, you know what, it just gone there. I bet they have a store full of them, and they're going to try to sell them and make a legacy card of them.
Maybe,
Yep,
but I
that's
didn't. I didn't
exact
see it on
same.
the store. I don't peruse the store as often as I should. But nah, I didn't think that he was going to get a legacy card. I feel like the original one would have gotten the legacy card first, the Sinestro Core one.
My biggest
Yeah,
disappointment
I could see
was
that one.
the Black Lantern Zoom from the Flash set. I pulled that one, and I'm like, please get a legacy card, please, please, please.
That's funny. There's a guy at our store who is like a Flash fanatic, and that's who he was hoping for too.
So you had a legacy prediction video apparently.
Yeah.
How many did you get right?
Oh my god. How many did I get right?
Yeah.
I did. So I actually pulled my store to kind of help me make the video. So it was not just only my predictions; it was all of our predictions. But the ones we got right were, we said the Sinestro, the colossal one. We said the Green Lantern and Flash duo click. Hal Jordan Parallax. Man, there's more. I don't know why I can't think of them right now. Black Lantern Firestorm was one. Actually, really excited for that one. You'll probably see if you keep going through the comments. Make fun of me because I like my Black Lanterns. So I'm pretty
Right.
excited for that.
Hector wants to know what's your least favorite set and why is it Avengers Defenders War?
Oh man, actually, that's not my least favorite. I don't really have a least favorite set. I will say I think there's been a few sets recently that have come out who I'm just not the biggest fan of. Um, I'll say two of them are the Spider-Verse set that just came out not too long ago. I'm probably gonna get some hate for that because one of our guys there is a huge Spider-Man fan too. But I just don't think that set was very good. I love Spot from that set. I know he's kind of a broken game mechanic, but I really like him. Almost everything else in that set, I'm just not a huge fan of. I'm in that next phase. I'm not a very big fan of that set either. I like the gods, but other than and I like Wong. Wong and Madison from that set are fun, but other than that, I'm not a huge fan of that set either.
All right, for both of you, so, somebody explain to me the hate on Spider-Verse set. I did not think it was that bad. Like, no, it's not my favorite set ever, but Scott especially, you've made a comment a couple times now.
Yes, I've commented that it's just a lot of super senses. It's like, okay, we're gonna play a game and you're not gonna be able to hit anybody because the super senses rolling through the set. Was it as bad as I thought it was gonna be? No, I thought it was just gonna be
Okay, no, it's
complete
not a good
super
sealed
sense
set
chaos.
because of that reason, but as a constructed set, I think it's pretty decent.
There's some stuff in it for constructed, so I'm not gonna deny that. There's Spot is really good. The Gauntlet Spider-Man is good. I have yet to play the D8 Blades Spider-Man. I wanna see how he plays.
It's gross.
Hypno Hustler sounds cool. I love mind control. The wall can be annoying. The kangaroo can do stuff, but I don't know. To me, it wasn't a set I was hoping to get.
Fair enough.
Yeah, for me, I just think it's just a lot of. I mean, they always got to do like a Spider-Man set. I feel like once or twice, like one every 1 or 2 years, there's a Spider-Man set coming out, and I feel like it's just a lot of the kind of the same characters, the same game mechanic of like you got super duper senses for pretty much everyone. I think what really lost me with this set was the chases. Like I get the theme and it's a fun theme. But for me, like if I'm trying to go out and collect chases, as much as I like the Sinister Syndicate, I don't want them to be the chases. I want like some
I
more
want them to be
maybe
the
like
super rare.
yeah, I thought they were gonna be the super rares, and I think that would have made the set better if they maybe swapped that and maybe made like we're talking about the Spider Verse. I want to see more alternative versions of Spider Man. You know, like they did a few years ago with what was that set where they had like a Spider Pharaoh and
Oh, that was oh my god, Spider-Man Venom Carnage,
yes.
Absolute
yeah,
Spider-Man Venom and Absolute Carnage or whatever it was.
that's what I thought they were gonna do. Was more like alternative versions of Spider Man for like the chases and things like that, not the Sinister Syndicate. So that's my biggest gripe with it. It's not a bad set. Like I was saying, I don't have a set where I'm like I'm not getting it because I did 100% buy a case of that, and I'm a collector, so I like getting them. But overall, my favorite figure in that set, hands down, is Spot.
All right, Valentin is asking, what is your favorite click of all time?
That's so tough. There's so many good clicks. I think I'm gonna go a little bit biased here, you know. But I'm gonna say World's Finest, the Legacy version. That's my favorite
Oh,
click. When it first came out, I loved that click. And then the Legacy came out. I think it made it even better.
which dial?
You got to go the lowest dial. you have to go with the 60 points.
Do you put equipment on it?
Oh yeah.
What do
Oh
you
yeah.
use?
I mix it up sometimes. So the main equipments that I like with him, everyone always talks about the Necro Sword. That's obviously a really good one. You get past the super duper senses from Spider-Man's, no shape change. You could knock them back and they have to take that one damage from the knockback no matter what. So that's a really good equipment. I really like putting the. You're not gonna like this because I like putting the Wonder Woman bracelets on them. If we do like
Yes,
golden,
that's the one I use.
you do like it. Okay, I was
Yes.
gonna say I
No,
thought you maybe did it because
I
it's
like
like
super
super
senses.
duper ultra senses.
Yeah, I like super senses as a power, but I feel like if the whole set is that, then it's not going to be a fun game because you just swinging,
Okay,
you're just throwing dice to throw dice. You're not actually just succeeding much.
yeah, you're hoping you can get through the super senses. But
Yes.
yeah, that with him, that is just an insane ability.
All right,
I think he could
and
get to like 2 through 6 at one point, right?
yes, you can.
That's insane.
Jeff Jeff Dumas wants to ask, when are you going to admit that Black Lanterns are awful and Pulp is a good format?
Never, I'll never admit it. um, so like I said, I get some Black Lantern hate from my store, and the reason why is when the Black Lanterns first came out, and I saw the Necron's ability to be able to heal people past their starting click. This was a problem in our store actually because we like hear these game mechanics and we kind of try to figure out ways to break them a little bit, which is probably not a good thing. But when I saw that game mechanic, I'm like, how can I like make people Black Lanterns? I could heal other characters, and I figured out with the old Black Hand, the with the Possessor one, he makes characters Black Lanterns. And then I got a Black Lantern power battery because if you give characters the construct through that battery, they gain the Black Lantern keyword. So one day I was able to pay 50 points for Kong, gave him a Black Lantern construct, and got him healed up all the way to his 500 point click. In like I think we were doing like a 300 or 400 point game. So I was walking around with my 500 point Kong, and I've gotten some bad looks because of that since. Yeah, I like my Black Lanterns.
All right, that's it for the Facebook questions.
So you were the first guest we've had on since the Scott Porter unboxings of the Lantern set, and they just announced that the BTU rings are modern again. What? This is for both of you. What are your takes on the BTU rings being modern?
I'm fine with it. It gives you more access to the rings. I do feel like it's going to be a wasted slot in your brick, and I don't think they're going to say the constructs are going to be modern. So you're just going to be limited to the sword, the bat, and the chain. Apparently, I don't know what else there is in the
There's got to be
boosters, but
more than that.
I don't think so because if they're going to up the count to how many rings they have, because apparently there's black and white constructs. We've seen the white ones in there. They're going to have to do white rings and or black rings. So you're doing instead of 7, you're now doing 9, and 9 times 3 is what 27 figures that you're looking for out of constructs. Just with 3 constructs, you add it again. You put another construct in there. You're going to need what 36.
Yeah, but that's kind of what they do, so that you have to go search them out.
I feel like that's just going to be too much. I feel like if they do 4, that's going to be the cut. They're not going to do another 7 or 8 constructs per ring.
How you feel about it?
I saw someone try to like figure out the math on how many constructs there's gonna be. They were saying that like all the White Lantern constructs that we saw were like something like H or something like that. They were guessing there's going to be probably a few more than like 6 or 7 constructs per ring. I
Oh
don't know if
wow!
that's true. I agree with you. I don't know how they're going to do that because um, when I was watching the Scott Porter unboxings, he pulled a ton of rings. And if that's like the correct ratio, like you're getting that many rings and not that many constructs, I think that's kind of a bummer. I am excited that they announced that the old rings are coming into modern because they literally told us hold on to your rings. So I'd be kind of bummed if we didn't get them in modern somehow.
Someone else was
I think
saying that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Kept
I don't know
kept
how you.
questioning.
They literally said hold on to your ring. So like from that moment, I'm like, all right, cool. We're getting those brought back into modern. I kind of wish that that's just what they did. They just brought them back into modern instead of releasing new rings in the set, or at least maybe making the ratio of rings to constructs way more constructs than rings. Um, but I mean, I'm excited. I'm a huge DC fan. I love lanterns, so I'm just excited to get rings back in the game. I think they were a very fun game mechanic.
I agree with you that I was afraid that remaking the rings and adding the old ones back in was just too much. But somebody pointed out in Discord that if you just left it to BTU rings and didn't make new ones, then anybody who's a new player that wasn't around for BTU is screwed.
Yeah.
Hey, baby. Are you a popular Katy Perry song? 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Hey. Hey. Ah, if Mario lived in the United States, what state would he live in? Louisiana.
Yeah, it'd be super hard to get a ring. They're already expensive. They'll just go up in price.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. Do you consider yourself a better builder or a better pilot?
I would say a better pilot. A lot of my builds, I mean, I'm like so earlier we were talking about like the worst loss that I've had. That guy who I was talking about, he is a great pilot. I'm not he's a great pilot, but he's a great builder. And that was the first time when I went into a game where it wasn't pretty like cut and dry like okay, we're moving in against each other, we're attacking, we're rolling dice. That was the first time I saw someone kind of like think outside of the box and come to the game with like a completely different strategy. It's not just I'm just attacking you and that's it. I'm setting up, I'm knocking you back, things like that. So I would definitely say I'm not there. I would say I'm more of a like I make my team and I'm gonna pilot it. I know how to pilot it the right way.
Cool. You said you're planning on going to Origins.
Oh,
Do you have
worlds.
what's
And
that?
worlds.
Or Worlds? Sorry, my brain's stuck in Origins. You're planning on going to Worlds. Do you have any plans to attend Red, White, and Clix in November?
I do not at the moment. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I said, I'm getting more into the Heroclix community over the past 2 years. I'm not really sure what that is. So if you want to tell me what that is and explain it to me, then
Absolutely.
I'm open to.
Well, Red, White, and Clicks is my own personal event that I put together. Last year was the first year for it.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do something around Veterans Day because I am myself a veteran, and I always thought HeroClix Veterans Day
Thank you for
felt
your
like a
service.
nice marriage. And I took a cue from Scott Porter with his Huntington's event, and I put together an event for veterans. So last year we had close to 80 players come to Indiana
Oh
for a
wow.
2 day event, and we raised about $15,000 for the event, and it all went to charity. And it's basically all it is. It's a fun 2 day event to raise funds for veterans in need. Each year I find a different charity that caters to veterans, and this last year was a local one that is remodeling a old abandoned National Guard Armory and making it a full facility with healthcare, mental health care, and all that kind of stuff. So our funds went to that. That's basically the long and short of it. Is it's a charity event for veterans.
That's awesome. Thank you for your service, man. That's
Thank
really
you.
exciting. You said you had 80 people last time.
Yeah, I'm planning on breaking 100 this year.
Is this going to be your second year doing it, or
Yep, this
80
November
is a
is.
great turnout for the first time.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's pretty.
Where is it?
It's in Lafayette, Indiana. So you know where Purdue is.
Kind of, yeah.
Yep, that's
More or less.
where the Purdue Boilermakers reside, up in
The
Indiana.
Purdue Budmakers. Um, I can't promise just because I've kind of budgeted for Worlds. But I will definitely try. That sounds awesome. I appreciate you doing stuff like that. I think it's
Uh,
cool when the HeroClix community comes together and does things like that.
it's going to be an annual event. Last year was the first year. It's the second year. Assuming that this goes off without a hitch, I plan on doing this every year going forward. It'll be the weekend before or after Veterans Day every year. Um, what was I going to say? Yeah, it's just a great time. Oh, it's the first event after Worlds, and it's the last
Right.
major event for the holidays and the hiatus of events. So it's a great way to test the new meta after rotation and everything.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, because rotation happens what normally in October.
The Monday after Worlds is when rotation happens.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you prefer to build a tent pole, a one man army, or a complex team that's multiple layered?
Probably the multiple layer one. If I had to choose, I love the idea of a one man army. I feel like every time I run a one man army, I get cooked so bad.
You run
So
out of
if I'm
actions every time.
yeah, it's just no way to handle it. Yeah, it's just one person against the army. So how can you last if you're getting hit 5+ times a turn?
So, do you consider yourself more of an aggressive or defensive player?
It depends what I'm running. Depends what I'm running. If I'm doing like the theme that I've been running a lot lately, 'cause like I said, I'm doing the Black Lantern stuff. Is I'll pair Black Lantern with my Black Lantern team with Spot. Kind of don't want to say this. I don't want people they're going to Worlds hearing about this. I, so I'm just kidding. So like I said, I'll pair Spot with my Black Lanterns. The idea of it is to basically shoot Spot out, let him do his thing, hit someone, and then when he hits someone, he can bring them all the way across the map. So I do that, and I put them in my kill box, where now I have like my great. I put in my grave marker. Between Batman and Black Lantern Swamp Thing, you take away their defense. You could take away any other power you want with Batman. So, like if you're having issues playing against super senses or shape change, okay, you can't use red or blue powers. Whatever's the worst option. And then Black Lantern Swamp Thing could hit twice. Batman could hit twice. Necron can hit. So kind of forget the question. I kind of just went on a rant.
If you like the one man army, or excuse me, if you're more aggressive or more defensive. So it sounds
Okay.
like you have some aggression going on there.
Yeah, so that one's a little more aggressive, and it is also that one's actually pretty defensive too because you put out your characters in the grave markers, and Batman protects them. You can't be targeted unless your opponent gets close, which is really what you want. So either your opponent comes to you, or you're sniping them off one at a time with Spot. So
Or I just
like I said,
used improved targeting and destroy your blocking terrain, your barrier, or your grave terrain marker, and then
don't
shoot the guy. Eh,
I need to tell people that.
I've already
No, I'm just
done
kidding.
this.
That's how you get around it. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I took out a Necron team like that, and it was like, what just happened? I'm like, yeah, well, it's only the one
Or
you're in. It's
Murn.
not the one in front of you. Burn is also really good.
So you've got 5 powers that you have to have on every single team. What are those 5 powers?
I'm not going to complicate it. I go off what HC Units tells me to put. I think you have to have leadership. You have to have um, whoops. You have to have some leadership. I would say telekinesis. You want prob, outwit, perplex. Yeah, those are your 5 right there. If I had to sacrifice one of those 3 support powers, I'd probably take out perplex because there's a lot of other ways you can modify your character stats. And then this is probably the more aggressive side of me coming out, but I would replace that with flurry, some sort of flurry, because the more attacks you can get in, more times you roll dice, more chances you have of actually hitting. And I need all the chances I get because my dice rolls suck.
All right, let's hear it, Scott. Let's hear your
I'm
thumbs
not gonna
down.
give you 5, but I'm gonna tell you prob is You're gonna miss. You're gonna miss. Why
What?
roll it again? I don't. To me, prob is
Hurry.
not. Prob is helpful, but is it the end all be all that I need it to be? No, it is not. The best type of prob is where you get to reroll 1 die instead of both.
Well,
Fair.
yeah.
Bear none. Eddie Guerrero had the best probability control in the game. Yes.
Latino Heat.
Outwit is hit or miss. It doesn't have to be one of the top 5 because there's so much outwit protection in the game. Could just be a bare spot on your dial before you can use it. Heroclix is the best of those 3 because you can constantly bump something up or down. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
TK is the 4 placement. It's nice. It's not what it used to be of 8, 6, 10, whatever it used to be. You can't make attacks with TK anymore, which is sad. I miss the throwing objects with TK.
Yeah.
And then what's the other leadership? I feel like leadership helps you with your tempo of your game, and if you can play your game with 3 actions instead of 4 actions, or 4 actions instead of 5, and you can figure out that tempo, you're going to be a step ahead for whenever they take out your leadership. So I wouldn't say it's a useful power. It's very useful. It's very powerful. I would definitely put sidestep on that list, though. So any kind of move and attack, sidestep is probably one of the best powers in the game.
I would argue
It's
that
very
TK is a form of move and attack.
It can be, yes.
I mean, you're wasting an action though most times.
Yeah.
Having to do that. I don't know.
So
I
that's
think
just my take.
I like TK a lot. I think it depends also the strategy and the team you're running, if you need TK or not on the team. But it's just with how a lot of the characters have been made. 1 TK can help get most characters across the whole map to set up whatever your strategy is going to be. So that's why I like it. I like running it with. I actually commented on one of the Dial H streams that he was doing at Origins. We were talking about Diana. I'm super surprised. He said he hates Diana. The Diana chase from Masters of Time.
Mm-hmm.
It's busted what she does. You don't have to hit. You just bring them over.
Yeah, it is broken. I 100% agree with that. But yeah, being able to just TK her, and then if you have her equipped, obviously, with the Hell Cycle for Hypersonic, it just helps set up so many different things.
You know what, though?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it right now. I don't remember seeing a lot of Diana on the top cut of Origins.
No, I don't
Zala
remember seeing
does
that
the
either.
same. Zala does the same thing with rivalry. So you're saving yourself 10 points instead of having to use the
I only
cycle.
remember seeing one Zala.
Yeah, no, that's true. Zala is better for that. I will say I think Diana has a little bit better keywords than Zala for the rivalry. Because what Zala has, obviously, what Kryptonian. I think she has Warrior, but
Keywords
Diana
Phoenix
don't
has
matter
Nest.
anymore. Keywords don't
Phoenix
matter.
Nest. No.
Phoenix.
Yeah, the Phoenix Pog.
Oh,
Phoenix, whatever
yeah,
it
if
is.
you have one.
Yeah. There's only like 300 plus out in the wild. Is there a proper way to open a HeroClix booster? I love this question.
Absolutely. You just got to rip it apart. I'm one of those people.
So you just rip into the side of it?
I just tear it apart. So this is funny.
Where
too.
do you start?
You can start. I usually, if if I'm trying to be neat about it, I go from the bottom. I always go from the bottom. But for like the Iconics boxes, you guys are gonna hate me for this. My brother, he hates me for this because he loves like collect. He's a collector for like Funko Pops and Heroclix, so he has all of his boxes like nice and neat. I hate boxes, so when I get Iconics and stuff like that, I tear them apart. I don't want to keep them. I don't want to keep them. It's too much clutter for me. So, yeah, with the single boosters, I rip the bottom, tear it open, take the booster out.
What
So
about like the Hellfire Gala with the nice packaging that has the magnet inside of it?
I've kept one of those. I don't think actually no, I haven't ripped that open. I kept one, and then the other one I think I gave to one of our other HeroClix players because they like the box. Um, if I get another one, it'll probably get ripped open. I'm actually gonna be
Oh,
I'm gonna do
save the
some.
box and use it for a treasure box for somebody. Send it to me. I'll send it to
I'll
somebody.
give it to someone else because those aren't some nice boxes.
Okay, this is a hot take, but I actually hate those boxes because I feel like you're paying more for
Really?
the box than the contents that are inside it.
I'm saying that's
I
why
can
it's a
see
nice
that.
package to give for Christmas and be like, oh wow, this is a nice box, and it could be some shoelaces,
I'm good.
some yarn bits.
These HeroClix are treasures. They are delicious artwork in plastic, and ripping into a box like a Neanderthal is doing disservice to the hard work and effort that went into creating these things and the joy that they're going to bring to you on the table. You need to cut it open gently and slide it open. It's an experience. You need to experience the joy of opening it.
Like they sing like a choir.
Oh,
Oh.
man.
And then they're all
I
broken.
don't know. I have a lot of fun ripping them open though. Oh man.
All right, Wes, do you think you're about ready for
Yep.
your shout out to our sponsor?
Yep. So our sponsor is John Hoffner of Clix Creator. He was at Origins and he got some really cool ideas for new stuff that he's going to be printing. So be on the lookout for that. But he's a 3D printer that can print anything from dice to tokens to maps to whole cases. He's got some really cool designs for cases that he's got popping out. Miles Kane got the prototypes of some brand new tokens and deity stands for Red, White, and Clix, and he thinks that they're awesome. And Miles Kane is not an easy person to please, so for him to say it's good, it's good.
I don't know how to twist the wrist. He's easy.
Do you want to do the Clix questionnaire? We got time for that?
Do I want to do it? Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have time for it?
Yeah. All right.
Does
So
Anthony have time for the Clix questionnaire?
Yeah.
all right. So on
You know what it
Clix
is.
here, we have what we call the Clix questionnaire. It is a tried and true, scientifically proven way for the Clix community to get to know you inside and out, get inside your heart and soul. Are you prepared to be fully known by the Clix community?
I'm ready. Getting me a little nervous, but I can do it.
Cake or pie?
Aye. That's an
Pulp
easy
or no
one.
pulp?
For orange juice, what are we talking about?
Your milk. Of course, orange juice.
I thought maybe we could have been talking about clicks. I don't know. I'm a pulp guy. I'll take pulp.
So with milk too?
Yeah, with milk too.
You like that pulp in the milk? It's
the
great.
pulpier, the better. No, of course not.
What do you call soda in Arizona?
Oh, it's soda.
So you're not,
Not
south
Coke?
enough
Not
for
everything
Coke?
We
Coke?
don't call it pop. We don't call it any other ones. Just some soda.
All right, one has to go. Sight, smell, or hearing.
That's a tough one. I kind of like having all three.
I would add taste as well. You can't have taste either.
Well, if you don't have smell, you don't have taste.
It tastes
Is that
funny.
true?
No, it tastes funny.
So
Smell helps a lot.
sight, smell, or taste. I like seeing things, so sight has to stay.
Well,
I'll take
hearing's got to go too.
that sight, smell, taste. I'll get rid of smell.
Sight, smell, taste. Okay.
What is your
Hey,
biggest
Wes.
pet peeve in Heroclix?
My biggest pet peeve. Oh man, I almost don't want to say this. I feel like when people are maybe going too slow. So I mean, there'll be times where like I've played a few people where it's kind of like, listen, man, you got like 2 3 options here that you can do, and they kind of take their time a little too much, maybe. That's probably my biggest pet peeve.
Okay, can I jump on this for a little bit? This time thing. There's been conversations after conversations over the past 20 plus years about using chess clocks in HeroClix. I was at the Orlando event, not this year, but the previous year, where we actually tested it out. And we played it 3 different ways. They gave us 30 minutes or half the time the first game. There was only like 6 or 8 of us playing the game. Um, a lot of those, there was at least one game where it went to time. The one guy ran out of time, and then the other guy had like 15 minutes to just keep making actions. The guy get to roll his super senses or his shape change, but he couldn't do anything. He's just standing there for the next 15 minutes as he gets beat on. A more complex team can be an issue, but if you practice it, you can make up a lot of time. The second way we played it where, well, maybe it's the second or third way. One of the 2 ways we played it is where you don't count anything during the actual combat phase. But once we enter an attack, the time stops and then you play. But we only had like 10 minutes of time for that. And most of your time is in the combat phases, it feels like, where you're rolling your shape change or you're deciding if you need to prob. So I want to say out of the 8 people that played it, 5 of them had a positive experience with the chess clocks. But it's very hard to implement that type of time or that type of game element and make the game still be productive. Could it be done?
So
It would need a lot of tweaking to get done. Yes.
so you're saying with the example you said you would stop the clock when dice were being rolled for attacks. That's when, or
The
was
whole
it
attack, the whole attack sequence. So if I say I'm going to charge you, when I get to my position, stop the clock. We're going to go through the attack phase.
Okay, so the time's only running for when people are doing like their leaderships and like thinking about how they're going to position stuff like that.
Yes.
I like that.
I thought that
I like
PJ
that.
said it was decidedly a failure, that he vehemently proved that it did not work.
No,
Didn't.
I don't think it was a failure at all. I feel like they got enough feedback that saying it was good, but overall, it needs a lot of tweaking to make it work. EJ may not have liked it, but I feel like the players themselves said it was, for the most part, enjoyable.
It sounds horrible to me.
Okay,
I don't
there are
think there's
some games
really.
that need help with moving along. Like if you get three turns in a game and you roll attacks twice, the game's not moving fast enough. When the game first started, you had 10 turns. You know how long it would take people to play 10 turns at that speed?
But what about the teams that have 20 free actions?
Practice your team and know what you're going to do.
Yeah, I'd say that's
I
the
mean,
tough part.
I've ran teams that have 14 figures on a 300-point game and it has a bunch of free actions. I've done it, and you can still play a game that gives you at least 5 turns. You just have to know what you're doing with your team.
It definitely sways the pendulum in the favor of one-man armies. Move.
I did
Done.
play against the one-man army in that setup, and the one-man army was bonkers to deal with. Because once you start crunching on time, you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? It's hard to deal with, but that was the first game that we played where everything was like half and half. If it was third game, maybe a little different. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the tough
So
part. I think is
I don't
trying
know.
to figure out that sweet spot.
Yes,
I'm
it
not going to
is.
say names, but we had one player where it was a little bit controversial a while back. They were running a one-man army, and they like it got to a point like points where like, all right, I failed my willpower roll. I'm double tokened up. And they had like a sidestep. And they were like, what am I
Where do
gonna
I
do?
go? 7 minutes.
And it's like you just have sidestep, buddy. Like, that is it. Just take your sidestep. Doesn't matter where. You're not going to get far enough to stop your opponent from being able to attack you. So I think that's where the problem is. The complicated teams. I think it makes sense. Like, yes, practice your team so you could keep it going, because this is a game we want both players to have fun. But I feel like they can get a little more leeway because they're doing so many different things. For those teams that you got like 2-3 people, there's really only so much you can do. And there's no reason for you to take as long as someone who is, 15 free actions. So that's just my pet peeve.
I guess I'm a little biased because I am a slower thinker. So while it looks like I'm just stalling, I actually am playing through all these scenarios in my head. I'm just not vocalizing it. I feel like, yes, there are always going to be people who manipulate whatever scenario we have. If you put the chess clock thing into action, there's going to be somebody's going to figure out how to manipulate that to their advantage. I think the game is fine the way it is. And yeah, there's always going to be somebody who takes advantage of a situation, and that whatever karma is going to get them eventually. Like, I think the game's fine the way it is. That's
Okay, so as
I don't
someone
think the
who's,
chess clock's the answer.
I'm not going to say it is the answer, but as someone who is a self-proclaimed slower thinker player, as you say you are, Wes, what are you thinking about when it's my turn?
Oh, I'm 100% thinking about what I'm doing. I'm also trying to figure out what you're doing. And then when you finish your final move and it completely... Like, I was playing Paul Cote on Roll20 the other day, and his final movement, his final action for his fourth action, completely obliterated everything I was going to do in my next turn. So then I had to start at square one and rethink everything all over again. So yes, I am thinking about what I'm going to do so that I'm ready, but then what you're going to do could completely derail everything that I was thinking about.
A lot of my thought process is that I know what I'm going to do, regardless of what you're going to do. I know where I am going to potentially go. I need to know your range or where you can strike me, and then I'm going to set up where I need to set up, or I'm going to make my attack or wherever I need to go. But if I have my team practiced enough, I know the positions, I know the timing, I know the placements, then it doesn't matter what you do. I can't say it doesn't matter what you do. It should matter minimal what you do if I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, and
It sounds a little conceited, but that's the way I see it.
There's certain figures and situations that are going to derail it no matter what. If you are equipment heavy and I Spider-Man Gauntlet your stuff away, and now you have no movement attack, you have no giant reach, you have to rethink everything on the fly. If I bring up Beetlejuice and you have a ton of free actions, and now you have no way to get across the board, you have to take time to think about that.
I feel like if I built a team that has no type of action, move and attack, then yeah, I put myself in a bad spot. If I'm just relying on equipment for move and attack, then I kind of deserve that.
But
I should also... Beetlejuice doesn't take away running shot. It takes away the ability to use a power with running shot, like energy explosion. I still get to make my attack.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I don't feel like it's a big enough of a problem that it needs addressed. I think there's other things that are more pertinent to the game right now than how long one or two players might take in an event.
Yeah, I don't run into it very often. It's just the times that I have, they've stuck, Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's that big of a problem.
I challenge PJ to say it was not a terrible event. All right, Bath Tell.
I think his take was that he proved it was not in a place that was ready to be implemented. I think that's exactly how he put it.
I'll agree with that. All right, Anthony, back to your questionnaire. Bath towel, crumple or fold?
My bath towel?
Mm-hmm.
I
When
hang
you
it.
leave it in the bathroom, you hang it up? You fold it and hang it up? Do you just throw it on the floor?
Oh no, I hang it up. I hang it up over the shower railing so it dries off,
Mhm.
and then afterwards I have a little hook and I put it on my hook. I guess both.
All right. Marry, fuck, kill, Wonder Woman, Black Widow, Harley Quinn.
I think.
Comic book or actresses?
Oh, good question.
Comic.
That might change it a little bit.
Comic.
Comics, okay. I mean, I gotta marry Wonder Woman. She's one of my favorites. Fuck Harley Quinn, kill Black Widow.
Okay.
All right, which Lantern
Harley's
Corps are
just
you
too
being
crazy
abducted?
to let that slide.
Which Lantern Corps are you getting inducted into?
What was that?
Which Lantern Corps will you be inducted into?
Ooh, I'd say blue. I'd say blue because I feel like that's once again Superman's a favorite character. He brings hope, the symbol of hope. Lantern Corps is the spectrum of hope.
I
I think
hope I
that's the
roll
one I
a
like.
critical hit.
I hope I roll a critical hit. I hope. I'd rather hope I don't roll a critical miss over rolling a critical hit.
Super villain that you think might be right, that you most closely relate to.
Man,
That's a hard
the
question because
Joker? I'm just kidding.
a lot of them go back and forth to good and evil. Like Magneto has been a bad guy, but he's a good guy. So
No, but
which is he?
Yeah,
his overall thing is uh, for mutants. You know, he wants the racism against mutants to stop. So that's his premise behind everything he does.
Yeah, but
would
from
you
his
say he's a
perspective,
villain
he's a
though?
good guy.
Yeah.
I feel like he's more of an anti-hero than a supervillain.
So what
Am
villain
I
do you think
crazy
is
for saying
a
that?
good guy?
What was that?
So what villain do you think is not as bad as what he's made out to be?
I mean, Magneto's a great example. He didn't come to my mind because, like I said, I don't really think he's a supervillain. I think he's fighting for the rights of his people. They're treated poorly, and he's doing what he needs to do. I would say super. So okay, here's one that I feel like a lot of people actually agree with online. Thanos for and the MCU just getting rid of half. You know, there's times where like I'm in rush hour. I think to myself, Thanos was right.
Oof. No, the
Um,
cars are in the way.
yeah, no, half the cars will be gone. um, so yeah, I mean, if I had to choose a supervillain, I guess maybe Thanos, but I think Magneto is actually a really great answer. The more I think of it, I like that one a lot. If you count him as a supervillain,
Mine would always be Lex Luthor. Because despite
really,
everything he does is get around, there is a overpowered being on the planet that he thinks could just take over the planet in an instant if he wanted to. And
Homelander style.
yeah, so his thing is to just balance out the scales so that humanity isn't in danger from this overpowered being that he doesn't trust.
I think that's the take. I think he just has ego, man. I think that's what it is. I don't know if he does it because he like wants to protect people from Superman. I think he just wants to be able to say he beat him.
Let's say.
I mean, Lex Luthor's a good one. I can't really think of any other villains that I feel like are right.
Ultron.
Ultron. I mean, he spent what like
Um,
5 minutes online and decided, "Hey, you guys
the
gotta go."
Infinity Ultron
Not the Infinity one,
from Disney.
the
Oh, from
classic one
Disney
from the
Plus.
movie.
Yeah.
All right, so what
Yeah,
number am
I
I
mean, it's
thinking of?
Ooh. Oh, before you guess, it's a 3-digit number. We don't know if it's a whole number or not. He won't divulge much information.
what number you're thinking of is a 3-digit number. You're thinking of 485.
No.
All right.
All right. Do you have any more questions, Scott?
I got one.
Oh
Who is the best James Bond?
man, that's tough because I didn't really watch a lot of the older James Bonds. The James Bond that I saw the most of was Daniel Craig. I think I'm just gonna go with him. He had some really cool action scenes. I thought he fit the character in my opinion. So yeah, we'll go with him.
Yeah, he's too
Go to
young to
Wes.
know the good ones.
Yeah.
Who do you think?
Sean Connery always. Duh.
Sean Connery had the accent. He had the speech for it, but I feel like Roger Moore was more suave for his movies. I love the Roger
Never
Moore
Timothy
movies.
Dalton.
No,
No.
Roger Moore was. I loved Roger Moore in his movies. He's just like, yeah, I know I'm James Bond. I'm gonna go chase down that tail over there, and it's mine. It doesn't matter.
Let me ask you guys, who do you want to be the new James Bond? They haven't announced it yet, right?
I thought it was a female they announced.
I thought
Did they?
I thought they were going with a black person.
I've heard rumors that it might be Idris Elba.
I'd be cool. I'd be cool
from
with it.
Thor.
Yeah, I'd be cool if it's Idris Elba, but it'd probably be Beyonce. Who knows?
Henry Cavill.
Maybe. I also heard Henry Cavill though.
Henry Cavill can do it. He can do anything, right?
He can do anything, yeah.
Kevin Smith.
And Smith is crazy.
No, not Kevin Smith. It's like asking Jack Black to be James Bond. I don't see it. Maybe Jack Black could do the next GoldenEye, or not GoldenEye.
He's got some good acting chops.
Austin
he might be able
Powers.
to pull it off.
I can see Jack Black trying to redo Austin Powers.
All right, John. Well,
I don't know. You can't replace Myers.
That was the Clix questionnaire. You have fully been known by the community now. They know your name. They know how you like your pulp. How does it feel?
Feels good. It feels freeing.
Well, gentlemen, I really enjoyed this talk tonight. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being here. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, I mean, I'm hoping I can convince you guys to become Superman fans someday. Maybe you can get back to me on the James Gunn movie. Let me know what you guys think. But no, I had a lot of fun. I really appreciate you guys having me on this. Like I said, I'm trying everything I can to kind of bring Arizona, my group, a little more exposed to the Heroclix community. I will say, I don't know if I can't do this and cut it off, but I guess like a self plug. I thought the reason why you guys had invited me was because I had recently started a YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
So I thought that's why you guys were inviting me. I was surprised to find out it's because you just saw me on the Phoenix Heroclix page. But yeah, I have a YouTube channel called Super Heroclix because Superman fan. So yeah, I mean, hopefully I can keep. I'm trying to make content that I think people will like and have fun with, and for me just to have fun also.
Oh, cool. I'll get that link from you and put it in the comments below so that people can check it out.
Yeah.
I didn't
Awesome,
know you were doing a
appreciate
YouTube channel. I just seen you on the Phoenix group, and I'm like, oh hey, here's somebody I don't know. Let's see if he wants to try and be on the show. And
That's
it
awesome.
took
I appreciate it. I think that's a
8
cool way
days,
to
and
do
here
it.
you are.
Yeah, awesome.
You have any final thoughts, Scott?
Nothing off the top of my head that's relevant today. I'm sorry. No movie quotes. Oh wait, you're killing me, Smalls.
So, funny story about that. I never saw that movie until the last 5 years. I somehow made it all the way through the 80s and 90s without seeing it. And my wife, it drove her crazy, and she made me sit down and watch it. And those old movies are only nostalgic if you grew up with them. When you watch it fresh now, it sucks.
Doesn't hold up.
It's okay. I can see that. Like my kid and I have been watching the Superman movies, and it's like the first one. He's like, the CGI is terrible. I'm like, CGI wasn't a thing in the 70s. What are you talking about? He's like, well, Superman just kind of flies sideways and backwards, and Doesn't make sense. So he didn't like the flying stuff in the Superman movie, the first one, but he thought the story was okay.
Back in that
When the
day, though,
second one, he said it was better.
that was state of the art.
State of the art. Yeah.
Heck yeah, when they did it, the first time they did it, yeah.
Their whole tagline was, "We'll make you believe that man can fly."
Yep. And now.
So my final thoughts tonight. First of all, thank you so much for being here. It's been a lot of fun. I kind of debated back and forth about addressing this or not. I do kind of want to leave with it for those who are still watching and listening. I am big on growing this community and adding to the positivity and growing the community and keeping out the drama and the nonsense, and because that's what makes the Heroclix community what it is. What makes it so much fun is we're all basically a big family. Apparently, I am not everybody's cup of tea, and I have offended people one way or another. I want to make an apology to anybody who I have offended. It's not intentional. My wife thinks that I might be on the spectrum because I say things and don't realize that they're offensive, apparently sometimes. Or I can be just flat out annoying. So I want to apologize for that. I only want to add to this community, make it grow. That's why I'm doing this. Why I did Red, White, and Clix. It's not for selfish reasons. It's just to put my stamp, make my mark in the community and to help it grow. So if I've ever done anything or said anything that has been taken wrong, it's not intentional, and I apologize. So that being said, I just want to thank you again, gentlemen. I will be looking at your YouTube content. I look forward to checking out, see what you got. Scott, you owe me some.
I do. I got editing to do. That's all I got to do is edit, and then I'm done with these things. I'm like, I just don't have. I feel like Scott Crampton said it a while back in one of his videos that if you're not in over your head or you're really trying, I feel like I have been like right there at in over my head, and it feels great. But I feel like I am not keeping up to date on everything I need to do. I owe you 2 videos. I will have them to you very shortly, sir.
Well, thank you so much,
Anthony. I sent you an image on how you can sell houses faster. So enjoy that.
Oh no! All right, I'll look into it.
All right.
Well, thank you so
That's
much,
all I got.
gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a blast. And to everybody out there in Heroclix land, as always,
Keep on Clixing.
keep on Clixing. Have a good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Yes. Night.
Somebody say